and welcome to the Mental Toughness University Licensee Apprentice Opportunity. I'm Dawn Andrews, and I'm excited to introduce your host for this presentation. I hope you're ready to take a lot of notes, because this apprentice opportunity has never been offered by a seven-figure speaker in the history of this industry. As a matter of fact, when Steve spoke to the $1 Million Speakers Group at the National Speakers Association, they thought he was crazy for offering it. I'll tell you what he told them. He's doing it because Bill Gove, the father of professional speaking, whom he apprenticed for, did it for him, and it launched his career. It's that simple. For those of you who don't know Steve Siebold, here's a brief introduction.
Self-made millionaire Steve Siebold says anyone can hit life's jackpot.
Steve Siebold is a world-class expert on mental toughness training for increasing sales, developing people, and managing change. He's a best-selling author and popular television interview guest on mental toughness for building wealth, getting fit, and excelling in sports.
How does a rich person look at money? What do they see? They see
lots of it.
And just available out there in the universe?
It's everywhere, especially with the recession. We have total chaos in the economy all over the world, world economy.
So they see opportunity.
They see opportunity because there's all these problems. Because where there's chaos, there's opportunity to solve problems, to make money.
Someone said that the rich, having made a lot of money last year in the stock market, and maybe some money in the housing market, the rich have an obligation to spend that money to help the economy. And you say?
Why? Why are they obligated? I mean, these people didn't make their money robbing banks. They made their money solving problems.
Because it would be good for the economy.
So is solving problems. I mean, do people want their problems solved or not? If they want their problems solved, you're going to have to look to the innovators, the job producers, the creators.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Siebold.
Thanks, Dawn, and thanks to all of you for joining us. This is a unique opportunity at the right time. And for some of you, it may be life-changing. The speaking business ranks among the most difficult of industries to enter, parallel to becoming a professional actor, singer, or comic. Most speakers who make it big served as an apprentice to an established speaker. Bob Proctor had Earl Nightingale. Larry Wilson had Bill Gove. Bill Gove had Dr. Kenneth McFarland. Dr. Kenneth McFarland had William Jennings Bryan. William Jennings Bryan had Mark Twain. Tony Robbins had Jim Rohn. Roxanne Emmerich had Joe Charbonneau. Mark Victor Hansen had Buckminster Fuller. Napoleon Hill had Andrew Carnegie. Jesse Jackson had Martin Luther King, and the list goes on and on. The apprentice concept is as old as time because it works. In this program, you license my content, and I teach you how to market, sell, and deliver it. It's a transfer of knowledge, credibility, and track record. This system virtually guarantees your success. This is what my mentor did for me, and now I want to do it for you. Back in 1996, I was charging $500 a speech when I met Bill Gove, the father of professional speaking. Once I became his apprentice, I had on-stage training with Bill for 5 years. He taught me how to build a referral network, and I marketed myself through the credibility of our association. I marketed and sold his program for the last 5 years of his life, and in return, he gave me a world-class education in the speaking business. I can remember Bob Proctor calling me one day, whom Bill had introduced me to, and I was still broke back then, struggling and frustrated, and Bob gave me one of the greatest pep talks of my career. He said, "Steve, you are the luckiest speaker alive because you're getting a PhD in this business. Study Bill Gove like a scientist and follow his instructions to the letter." Legendary speakers like Larry Wilson told me the exact same thing. These men had nothing to gain from my success, but both had been Bill Gove apprentices and become platform giants. The advice of Bill Gove, Bob Proctor, and Larry Wilson was the foundation of my $1 million speaking career. Many years later, Hollywood came calling, and soon my story of being mentored by the master will be told in a feature film. Bill Gove, Bob Proctor and Larry Wilson were right, and all of them said the same thing. The best way to repay them is to take on my own apprentice and pass on what I've learned. And that's what this program is all about. I'm proud to say that over the past several years, this program has produced two of the most successful professional speakers in the world, Dr. Alok Trivedi from Chicago and Jason Forrest from Houston. Both of these men started out with the same dream of becoming successful speakers, and both were tremendous apprentices. They were coachable, hardworking, and dedicated. Today, both men are earning several $1 million per year and rank among the wealthiest speakers in the business. And if you're willing to do what they did, you can do it too. Now, if you've been trying to break into this business and you failed, let me assure you, it's not your fault. It's not an ordinary business, and that's why almost everyone fails. It's been said that about 1 in 10,000 people who attempt to break into the speaking business actually makes it. The reason is it's a performance art, like acting and singing. The percentage of people who make it as actors in Hollywood is equally low, unless they're children of successful actors, in which case their success is virtually guaranteed. I mean, you think Jennifer Aniston just happened to get an audition for the show Friends? Both of her parents were award-winning actors and longtime stars in Hollywood. How about Kate Hudson? Her mother is Goldie Hawn, her father is Bill Hudson, and her stepfather is Kurt Russell. All three are Hollywood legends. You don't think that made a difference in her success? Of course it did. They opened doors for her every step of the way. Half of Hollywood is based on nepotism, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'd do the same for my kids, wouldn't you? My point is that the odds of these people breaking into the business on their own would be extremely low. And it's the same in the performance art of professional speaking. The truth is, you're going to need a break. Someone to escort you into the business like these Hollywood stars did for their kids. Someone to get you on stage and promote your career. See, that's what Bill Gove did for me, and that's what I'll do for you. Over the past 25 years as a member of the National Speakers Association, I've watched people who started at the same time I did fail to make it in this business. Can you imagine trying for 25 years to make it as a speaker? It happens to lots of people. And it's not because they're bad speakers. It's because they lack the connections necessary to break into the business. It's not fair, and it's not their fault. But that's the way the business works. You either have the right connections or you don't. Bill Gove was my connection to the big leagues of this business, and I want to be yours. The smartest move I ever made was becoming Bill Gove's apprentice. Now, the dumbest move I ever made was insisting on creating my own content. The first time I met Bob Proctor, he warned me about this. He said, "Steve, it'll take you 5 to 7 years to prove that your content works and to gather the necessary client testimonials to sell it. Don't be foolish." Larry Wilson, founder of multinational Wilson Learning, told me the exact same thing. But I was stubborn and dumb, and they were right. It took me 7 years of trial and error. If I would have licensed proven content, it would have saved me all those years. Now, as my apprentice, I don't want you to make the same mistake. That's why I've included a non-exclusive lifetime license of Mental Toughness University with your apprenticeship. This way you can be profitable immediately because you're selling and delivering a program with a world-class track record. Over the past 25 years, this program has helped our Fortune 500 clients increase sales collectively by $1.3 billion. But like we suggest to all our corporate prospects, don't take it from me. Take it from our past and current clients. Here's a few examples straight from some of the executives that have hired us over the years.
We had multiple teams benefit from Mental Toughness University training. They grew both personally and professionally each time that we went through the process. The results, the best one I can give you is back-to-back President's Awards, which means we were best in the nation 2 years in a row.
The mental toughness process is powerful because it gives our sales teams confidence, it gives them direction, and it gives them self-purpose. It certainly clarifies all the goals and the opportunities that they have before them. And it gives them the strength and the confidence to go after those goals.
Well, mental toughness has played a very positive role with our team's success with Volvo because we're in a tough business. We're in a tough business, and a lot of people fail at this business. And for us, turnover rate is critically important. Our turnover rate is under 5% annually. The industry is at 43%. And really, that's all about mental toughness.
The type of impact that mental toughness had on our sales team was significant from a couple perspectives. One, from our sales numbers and also from our recruiting numbers. We were able to, within a short period of time, have tremendous impact on the thoughts and minds of our agents and helping them build their business, and saw within the first 30 to 60 days after implementing the training that was in, quite frankly, in the 177 mental toughness book, we had incredible results.
The results that I've seen through mental toughness training, not only for myself to overcome rejection, but I've used those as lifelong principles to be able to train my sales teams and to steer them to success. And I believe because of the principles of mental toughness that my team has become the #1 Fiat retailer of all time in North America.
And mental toughness is really a science. You can learn mental toughness. It's not something that you're born with. Mental toughness happens with experience, training, and through Mental Toughness University, you're going to get that experience.
In terms of being a sniper, mental toughness is a requirement to survive. There have been many situations that I was in where mental toughness was the primary reason I'm still here.
Our culture changed in a positive way around critical thinking versus emotional responses. The critical thinking process helped us evaluate ourselves, to evaluate our attitudes, our skills, and our knowledge, and continually work to improve on each of those. Again, the results, back-to-back President's Awards.
The reason we chose Mental Toughness University is because it kept everybody focused and moving in the same direction toward the same goals.
The mental toughness training would be most advantageous to people who are in difficult industries, where competition is fierce, where perhaps you're competing in a market that has just been affected by the recession, and you can't just outperform your competition, you have to eat them alive. And mental toughness training is just a huge help with that.
I would recommend Mental Toughness University to any sales organization that is wanting to improve their sales numbers.
I would highly recommend the Mental Toughness University to all of my colleagues because I think the #1 problem that we have is retaining talent. And why do people leave the auto industry? Because of rejection. They have a hard time making the sale, retaining the customer, and making enough money to survive. This is the greatest business in the world. If we can train our sales teams on how to handle rejection and close the deal, we're going to retain our employees and we're all going to make a lot more money.
I would recommend Mental Toughness University to financial advisors because mental toughness is something that is learned. And it's through spaced repetition and education and training that you can really become mentally tough.
As a sniper, I would recommend Mental Toughness University to anyone above the 7th grade level in life. It works. It works no matter what you do. It doesn't matter what path you've chosen in life. Mental Toughness University can affect the bottom line of whoever you're working for. And that's the whole thing. It's bottom line.
I've worked for 25 years to earn testimonials of this caliber. 25 years. And you will have them on your first day as an apprentice. That's the intelligent way to build this business. You can build a 6-figure speaking career in a fraction of the time. That's the smart way to do it. And once you're established, I'll teach you how to integrate your content, your ideas, and your philosophies with mine seamlessly. It's a brilliant strategy, and it will save you 5 to 7 years of struggle. So here's exactly how this works, step by step. Speakers who apply and are accepted to the Apprentice Program are trained on how to build a massive referral network. Professional speaking is a referral-based business, so your referral network will serve as the foundation of your business. Next, you'll learn how to market, sell, and deliver the Mental Toughness University program and follow-up coaching process, which has over 100,000 graduates around the world from corporate clients like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Caterpillar, GlaxoSmithKline, Toyota, and Merck. I introduce you as my business partner and prepare you to break off on your own. Once you're ready, we disband your apprenticeship and you're launched. Oh, and while you're in training, you'll be paid thousands of dollars for every program that we deliver together. One of the most common questions we get from apprentices is, how do I make my investment back? And the answer is, it only takes a few deals.
Hi, my name's Ryan Laniak. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I'm sure like many of you, when I first heard about the opportunity, my wife was wondering, how long is it going to take to get this investment back? And for me, it was about 8 months. And in that first deal, one deal, I made $36,422.86. And follow-up dates from that are going to take me probably over $100,000 in the next few months. So one deal literally tripled my investment.
Hello, my name is Attila Varga. I am from Toronto, Canada. I've been in senior management roles with large global financial institutions, and I became an apprentice of the Mental Toughness Training Program back in the March of 2015. Since then, we have landed a contract with a massive financial organization and started a training program already. So within 6 months, I almost made back the investment I had to make into this program itself. I see significant demand for this training program with organizations in the new economy. So if you are considering a proven program that is needed in the marketplace, I urge you to consider Mental Toughness. I wish you the best of luck. Attila Varga, thank you.
See, while most speakers start out earning $500 a day and then move to $750 and then to $1,000 and so on, you'll start out earning $9,000 per day. Why? Because I have a 25-year track record and I'm charging $30,000 per day, and you're getting paid a substantial percentage of my fee as my apprentice. Are you starting to see the potential here? I hope so, because this could be the opportunity that changes your life. I'm not exaggerating. My apprenticeship with Bill Gove was my one shot at the big leagues of this business. And thank God I took it. My life has been like a dream ever since. There's no reason you can't follow in my footsteps and live the same dream. After all, I'm no different than you. We both share the same dream, which makes us very much alike. Believe me, I'm no smarter, faster, or more talented than you. I'm just an average person that had a crazy dream and the desire to make it happen. Do you have that same desire? Do you lay awake at night wondering what it would be like to inspire audiences around the world? Do your family and friends think you're nuts for wanting to speak for a living? Do you have the overwhelming feeling that your life won't be complete unless you share your story with the world? Do you find yourself daydreaming about standing ovations, writing books, being interviewed on television and radio, and making a difference in people's lives? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, welcome to the club. 25 years ago, I had these same dreams, and I will tell you in all honesty that when each one of them came true, they were far better than what I had imagined. The standing ovations were emotionally overwhelming. Selling hundreds of thousands of books and signing autographs was surreal. Being interviewed on the Today Show, Good Morning America, and hundreds of other TV and radio shows is an emotional high that's hard to explain. Making millions of dollars and living like a rock star has been just plain cool. But while all of these things are amazing, I'll tell you the single most rewarding part of this business, at least for me. The first time it happened, I was shell-shocked, and it changed my life and the way I see this business forever. Here's the story. I was speaking to 10,000 people in the Los Angeles Convention Center. My first book had come out a few months earlier and was selling well. I finished my speech and felt good about it, but the audience gave me only perfunctory applause, and my ego was a little bruised. So I walked off stage, and the convention handlers escorted me to the book signing table. The first person that walked up to me was a middle-aged man, very well-dressed and immaculately groomed. He very somberly extended his hand, looked me squarely in the eyes, and said, "Mr. Siebold, I don't want your autograph." I was a little surprised and my ego was bruised a little more. He just stood there and stared at me for the longest time. It was probably only 10 or 12 seconds, but it seemed like forever. I would have said something, but the look in his eyes was telling me not to. This man had something serious on his mind and was gathering the courage to tell me. Finally, he said, 3 weeks ago, I decided to kill myself. A few years ago, I got divorced and lost my family. And ever since, I've been severely depressed. I'm in constant, gut-wrenching, emotional pain. 3 weeks ago, I went out and bought a gun, and I planned on shooting myself that night. It seemed like my only way out. He said, I was wandering around my apartment and thinking about how to do this, and I caught a glimpse of your book on my living room table. One of my friends bought it for me. It had been sitting there for a few weeks, but I hadn't even looked at it. But for some reason, I picked it up that day and I started reading it, and I couldn't put it down. I felt like you were talking directly to me. I read it nonstop for hours and I started to feel a tiny sense of hope. So I decided to finish the book that night. The next day, I returned the gun to the store and made a decision to rebuild my life using your world-class thinking skills. I've been doing it now for 3 weeks and I feel better than I have in years. I feel like I'm on my way back to a good life, and I just wanted to thank you. I was so stunned, I didn't know what to do or say. I just stood there with tears in my eyes. He said, "Thank you, Mr. Siebold. Your book saved my life. If you hadn't written it, I'd be dead." He shook my hand and walked away. I just fell back in my chair, dazed. Here I'd been upset that I didn't get a standing ovation. It was my first wake-up call to the power of what we do in this business. See, what we do gives people hope in what sometimes seems like a hopeless world. We're a beacon of light people turn to during the storms of their lives, and we serve as a motivational kick in the pants when the skies are clear. Since that day in Los Angeles, the same scenario has happened about a dozen times, and it's meant more to me than any car I've ever driven, home I've ever owned, or standing ovation I've ever received. What about you? There are people out there hurting right now that need your message. Maybe they don't relate to my message or other speakers' messages. Maybe you're the only one who can reach them. Could your message save a life? I don't know. Could it give someone enough hope to hold on another day? It's possible, but only if you're out there speaking, and that's where I can help you. So, in essence, I'm offering to mentor you until your speaking career is launched. Now, obviously, I can't do this for everyone, and the selection process is rigorous. I can't promise you that you'll qualify. The investment in becoming an apprentice is $2,950 per month for 12 months, or a one-time payment of $30,000. Now, if you think that's a lot of money compared to what you can earn as a professional speaker, I'd like to challenge you on that. This is a serious business for serious people, and unless you're willing to invest in yourself, you're never going to make it to the big stage. It takes mental toughness to gamble on yourself, but it also takes mental toughness to stand on stage in front of 10,000 people and tell them what to do. My point is that timid people make lousy speakers. This business is for the bold, and if you don't believe in yourself, you're better off giving free speeches to churches, civic clubs, and schools where the stakes are not so high. I don't mean to sound rough about it, but that's the reality of this business. You either have the stomach to take calculated risks or you don't. And it starts with your willingness to invest in yourself. Do you really believe you have what it takes? Great, prove it. Bet on yourself and work like crazy so your gamble pays off. This is the mentality that creates platform rock stars. See, most people talk a great game, but when it comes to betting on themselves to succeed, they retreat back to their comfort zone. It's one of the primary reasons we charge to become an apprentice. It weeds out the weak and showcases the strong. And if you're not strong, I can't put you on stage. I'm only interested in tough-minded, self-confident, calculated risk takers. Partly because those are the people I like to work with, mostly because that's the mindset you need to make it. You'll never see a weak, fear-based person succeed as a professional speaker. It takes supreme self-confidence to stand on a stage and ask people to give you their undivided attention. It takes a person who refuses to allow fear to run their life. Most people don't believe in themselves enough to bet on themselves. Not to show, not to place, but to win. So are you willing to bet on yourself? Are you willing to gamble that you have what it takes to succeed? Do you believe it's your destiny to become a world-renowned speaker? These are the questions I had to ask myself before I became Bill Gove's apprentice, and I recommend you do the exact same thing. See, even though I was broke, I honestly believed it was my destiny to become a speaker on mental toughness and deliver my message to the world. I mean, I wasn't sure I could do it, but I believed Bill Gove could teach me. So I borrowed the money and bet on myself. Although I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. I was. I didn't know how I would ever repay the money I borrowed if I failed. But I had to try. I wanted to be on stage so badly I could taste it, and I knew this might be the only opportunity I would ever get. Well, now looking back 25 years later, I know for a fact it was the only chance I would have ever had. Without my apprenticeship with Bill Gove, I would probably be speaking at Toastmasters, Rotary, and Kiwanis clubs, all the time knowing I had my shot, but I was too afraid to take it. I don't know about you, but I would have a hard time living with that. You know, sometimes in life, the brass ring only comes around once, and if you don't have the guts to grab it, you spend the rest of your life thinking about what might have been. Is it worth doing the work and risking the investment? Only you can answer that. All I can tell you is it was for me. If I died tomorrow, I would depart this world knowing that my message reached millions around the globe and made a difference in people's lives. And that's all I ever really wanted. It was never about the money. It's about positively impacting people's lives and offering them hope. That's what all speakers want. And yes, you can earn millions doing this and live a lifestyle that most people only see in movies. But the real kick is seeing your words go around the world and having people come up to you in airports and hotels and send you messages over social media saying how you changed their lives forever. How do you put a price on that? It's every speaker's dream, and it's a wonderful dream. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I hope you feel the same. Now, before you apply for the apprenticeship, I want you to hear from a few of my apprentices.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alok Trivedi, aka Dr. Rewire. I'm here in my virtual studio here, and I wanted to take a second and just speak to you about the Apprentice Program. I am a product of the Apprentice Program and working with Steve Siebold, and it has been an absolute journey of honor, to be honest with you. It's been amazing. And over the course of the last, 5-7 years, I've developed almost an 8-figure business in being an apprentice in the speaking business. Working with Steve has helped me from going from being a doctor, a chiropractor, in fact, into a speaker where I am in 74 different countries. My books are being traveled and sold all over the world. My videos and my content are going all over the world. The product of the apprentice is it teaches you how to become that person. Now, it's not easy. You do have to do work. There's a lot involved in it. But Steve is such a great mentor that he's going to walk you through the process exactly. And if you're looking to make money In the speaking business, there's nobody better. There's nobody better that's going to teach you how to create an income strategy and learn the tools of how to engage and entertain an audience better than Steve Siebold. He's the best of the best. So if you're looking to make money in the speaking business, if you're looking to grow your influence across the world, if you're looking to get your message out to the masses and help people all over the world, then the Apprentice Program is right for you. Steve is going to guide you to the path that you need. He did for me, and I'm forever grateful. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Hello, my name is Sharon Shamonte. I'm from North Carolina, and this apprenticeship program has been invaluable. The things I've learned, I work with Fortune 500 companies, and they only work with the best of the best, where I have to bring my A game and then some. I've learned things here with the technology, the opportunities. I would recommend this to anybody that wants to take their game to the next level. This apprenticeship program has improved my skills, everything on a weekly basis.
Hi, this is Eric Chan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been an apprentice with Steve Siebold for the last 2 years. In these last 2 years, I've been able to travel with Steve all across the US and Canada, from Calgary to Toronto, and California to Miami, Florida, and everywhere in between. I've seen Steve speak to audiences with a few hundred people to a few thousand people. I've seen him backstage, in the green room, do book signings of hundreds of people that last multiple hours, interact with his fans. Just a lot of first-hand knowledge and experience that I wouldn't get otherwise unless I was an apprentice with a professional speaker like Steve himself. Also done videos and webinars with Steve. They have a state-of-the-art facility at their new corporate headquarters, the Bona Island Mansion. And just be able to be part of his grand vision moving forward as an apprentice. I'm very, very excited of what's to come. We have multiple pending contracts right now, and the future is definitely very bright, and I wouldn't have it any other way and chose it any way to do this besides partnering and being an apprentice with Steve Siebold.
Bob Verhelst here. I want to talk to you about Steve Siebold and the apprenticeship program. Now, I've been an apprentice of Steve since last year, and in that short time, the value and the impact that I've received, I couldn't have gotten anywhere else. I always wanted to be a speaker, and most people don't get to realize their dreams, but this is something that is helping me to get to where I want to be and realize and actually live my dream of being a professional speaker. So ask yourself this question. If you want to be that thought leader, if you want to be that professional speaker, what are you waiting for? Sign up right now. Steve Siebold Apprenticeship Program.
That's the vision. So on behalf of Don and our whole company, welcome to the family. Here's to you guys, all right?
We're among the finest of the fine, the best training from a proven track record, well-established, really the top of the shelf.
Well, good morning, everybody.
I'm very excited that all of you are here, and I want to welcome you to the families.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Atlanta. We always sell the companies on the one day first. I mean, you're never going to be without some great content.
The intensity and Steve's presentation style was awesome. I just kept pulling his energy away for myself, and I'm going to package that up and take it with me and use it.
I mean, just for all of us, it's great to learn.
Tiger is the most mentally tough athlete in golf.
We all had that where we didn't believe in a product, but yeah, it's pretty good.
We need a process to gather information in order to have a warm sales call as opposed to a cold sales call.
It's amazing when you realize what is right in front of you. And it's not going to take that much to be able to take one step.
So Steve started to lay out the contrasting truths. So the lowest we go with our program, at least right now, is an RVP.
The reality is, though, nowadays, if you're trying to connect with everyone,
it allows you to become a deeper, more significant piece. Because inside of this, to me, love and abundance stands for caring and sharing. Now, Bill would tell you that the opposite of love is fear.
And I sell vacuum cleaner, blender for mushy food, and barbed wire.
It is the best thing ever.
Before we close, I'd like to add one last thought for your consideration. As some of you know, Steve and I have been married for almost 30 years. I was there in the days when we were frustrated, broke, and trying to figure out what we were going to do with our lives. I would have been happy in a traditional corporate career, but I always tried to be supportive of Steve's entrepreneurial mindset, even when most of his ideas failed. When he asked me if I'd go along with borrowing money to become Bill Gove's apprentice on a 22% interest credit card, it scared me. We didn't have a backup plan, and I wondered, how would we ever pay this money back if the apprenticeship didn't work? I was worried, but what worried me more than the money was the thought that this might be the only chance he would have to live his speaker's dream. He just wanted it so badly. He was working so hard trying to get the speaking career off the ground. It was heartbreaking watching him struggle. It's hard seeing someone you love suffer. And that's why I told him to borrow the money and go for it. It was the financing of a fantasy, and I supported it 100%, even though it was a long shot. I tell you this because spouses and significant others have the power to kill the speaker's dream. I mean, let's face it, it's not a normal dream. Speakers don't want to start a business or even necessarily make a lot of money. They just want to speak and move people with their message. I don't pretend to understand. It's not my thing. I speak when I have to, but I don't love it. That being said, I do love Steve. And as crazy as borrowing money we had no business borrowing seemed, I supported it wholeheartedly. Money is important, but seeing his face light up when I acted excited about his apprenticeship was priceless. Some things are just more important than money. And when our gamble paid off, he never forgot the fact that not only did he bet on himself to succeed, but that I bet on him too. Dreamers never forget the people who supported them before they made it, and they also never forget the people who didn't. I can't tell you the joy it's given me to see his dream come true. I've seen him on the big screen, and soon his story will be made into a Hollywood movie. It's all a little surreal. But then I think back to the day that made it all possible, which was the day Bill Gove offered him the apprenticeship. Thank goodness I had the sense to support him, and I was able to hide my fear and acted as if he couldn't fail. Thank goodness we borrowed the money we didn't have to finance this crazy dream, because today, it's no longer crazy, nor is it a dream. My purpose of sharing this with you, the spouse of a speaker, is to encourage you to consider the big picture before deciding whether or not to offer your support. I'm so glad I did, but not because of the money or success, but because of the fact that I didn't stand in the way of Steve's dream. It would have been worth it even if he'd failed, because at least I helped him take the one shot he had at this business. That would have been enough for me. Just a thought for your consideration. To apply for the apprenticeship, just fill out the form below and our Director of Licensing will contact you. So, on behalf of Steve Siebold and our entire licensed apprentice family, thank you for watching this presentation and I wish you all the best of success. I'm Dawn Siebold.
Success!